Go.
What's Your Position podcast is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised. On today's Full Frontal, we're talking about the courtship gap with Dr. Dave Pincus. Do you guys want to hear a joke?
Yup.
What does a robot do after a one-night stand?
Oh my God.
Nuts and bolts.
Yeah, that's
Yes, I got it.
And now, with love from Huntington Beach, your host, Ashley Weller.
Nailed it.
Welcome, fellow humans, to another Full Frontal episode on Season 5. Mia, what is Season 5?
We're live,
We are
baby.
live. Season 5 is live. And today we have Dr. Dave Pincus with us. And we are talking about the courtship gap and dating in a modern society for men. Quick disclosure. It is one of husband Weller and I's favorite weekends.
It is.
It is the Huntington Beach Air Show. Can we talk about how fucking excited I am right now? So just so you know, if you hear loud noises
in the background. There's a lot of rumbling.
It is a Raptor jet.
Please excuse
flying
that. There's
by.
nothing we can do about it.
And we don't want to.
Yeah.
It gives
No,
me
I know,
a
right?
funny feeling inside.
Yep.
I love it. Okay, we're talking about the courtship gap today. We are so honored and excited today to have this human being with us. Quick little intro for you. You've probably dated somebody at some point in your life. You have probably had bad dates, good dates, dates that seem like they never end in the most horrific and life-sucking way, and dates that seem like they end too soon.
Yeah.
And the idea of leaving feels like you're breaking some sort of spell. Dates that end before they begin. Dates that end after someone feels insulted, disgusted, or embarrassed. Dates that feel like love. Dates that feel like lust. And dates that turn into a lifetime. One thing is for sure, whether it's a blind date, a 14th date, a date night with a partner, a third date, or a hookup, dating's fucking hard.
Yeah.
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 Anybody in here ever been on a blind date?
Nope.
No.
Yes.
I don't even.
Really?
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
I've
On a
never.
scale of 1 to 10, how
How bad?
painful or great it was? Painful 1, great 10.
Oh, 1. Can we go negative 10 to 10?
You could.
Yeah, no, you can.
You want to
Yeah.
go in the negative?
no.
When you were going through your intro on the different dates we've had,
Yeah.
this is always the first one that
Can,
comes to
can I be
Oh.
honest? I don't even know if I ever went on a date in my entire life.
We went on a date, you fucking fool.
No,
Oh
we
my
were we were
No, we
were
were
friends.
not.
We were friends.
You took
This
me
is my
on a
whole
date.
point, by the way.
Oh my
you guys are
God.
making my point. You knew what was
both-
going on and he didn't. And that's why
knew.
it's not his fault.
Yeah, I was just trying to get into your pants.
This
I went
is
on a
why
date that I
men
didn't know was a
don't
date one
lead.
time. Yeah.
This
What?
is the whole book right here.
No, I went on a date that I didn't realize was a date.
Oh yeah, you thought it was like a dude just like, hey, let's go hang out.
Yeah, he's like, let's catch up. Let's go watch a movie.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get into your pants.
Ew. No. You had to know. It was,
I didn't know, and then
No,
we
no.
got there.
Did he make a move?
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, never mind.
Can I just clear this up though
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
Ask the
Ask the
expert.
expert.
Ask
Yeah.
the expert.
Yeah.
Yours was a date and you didn't know it. Yours was not a date and the guy thought it was.
Okay. Oh.
There we
yeah.
go.
Really?
Thank you.
Yes.
I feel validated.
Can I explain our date?
Yeah.
This
I don't even know which one you're going to talk
this
about.
fucking guy, we were just hooking up
Oh my God,
for
you're
2
right.
months. And I
remembered it.
Uh-huh.
I just remembered.
That's
we
why
were
you didn't
hooking
think
up
it
for
was a
2
date.
months. We weren't going on dates. We were just hooking
That's
up.
why I guess I didn't know it
We
was a date.
never went outside of his bedroom. It was just hooking up. And then one day I was flying home from Seattle and he said, I'll pick you up from the airport. And he drove to LAX. This man doesn't drive to LAX now to pick me up from the airport. I Uber when I land in LA. He drove to LAX and in the front seat of his car was a baseball glove. And inside the baseball
And she
gloves,
picked it up. What did you
I
do?
picked up the glove and threw it in the back seat. I was actually pissed. I was like, I'm trying to get in the fucking car with my suitcase
Get
and
us
there's
out of the
people
way.
around me and we're in the traffic and I got to get in the car. And he's like, hey, pick up that glove. And inside were 2 tickets to the Angels game that night. He drove me to sushi and then we went to the Angels game.
That's a fucking
How the
date.
fuck is
That's
that
a
not
date.
a date?
I didn't remember that. I mean, I do now. I
That's a
remember it
date.
now. I very vividly.
Expert, can you weigh in? Was that a date?
Yeah, it was a date.
Fantastic date.
Fantastic
It's a
date.
super cute date.
It was the best date.
The pickup from the airport would have
Hello?
been plenty.
Done.
Right.
I was done after
Yeah.
that. You
Well,
had me at airport.
I think because of the way it progressed from just being like acquaintances to being friends to hooking up
Yep.
to dating
Yep.
was like this progression that I guess I just didn't.
It was a beautiful
Reg.
progression, and that was a very clear moment in the progression.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Oh, no,
okay,
I am.
that was a date. Yeah.
Dates suck, right? What do I wear? Are they going to like me? Should I open with a hug? Should I close with a kiss? How's my breath? What if they don't look like their picture? What if they're a serial killer? What if they don't like movies, sushi, anal? What if
Oh my God, I remember another date now. Okay, yeah, I've been in dates.
what if I fall in love? Dating is scary and exhilarating and exhausting
Yeah.
and beautiful and necessary. It's a necessary. I'm going to argue that
It's
it
an
is
interview.
a necessary. It's an interview. It's multiple interviews, and it's a part of courtship that has to take place. You're saying no. You're saying no.
It's SMH. Shake my head, not
Oh,
disagreement.
it's an absolute
so
agree.
sad.
So
Yeah.
sad.
that we are in the situation.
We are, right?
Are with something that important.
It's so important.
and that we are thrown to the wolves and we don't even know it.
Listen, dating is important in new relationships, and dating is important in seasoned relationships with your partner and significant other. We should continue dating our entire relationship, and it's not talked about.
It's evolutionarily loaded with the most weight possible.
Right.
And yet we're on our own.
And we're not, and it doesn't get talked about in a scientific, research-based, factual way enough. Where is the fucking manual is what I want to know. So today,
It's sitting half written 10 years ago.
We'll get to that soon.
today I brought to you the WY Peeps, Dr. Dave Pincus, clinical psychologist for over 30 years, working with couples, children, and thruples before it was cool. We're going to get to that.
Awesome.
Some specialties in OCD and anxiety. He is also a tenured professor in clinical psychology at Chapman University. This was a cool fact. He was the president of the Society for Chaos Theory
That's
from 2011
Excuse me?
to
Sounds really cool.
2013. I'm so
Chaos.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr.
Butters.
I love Butters. His research has continued to test, expand, and refine his model of relationship dynamics. And in addition to understanding the complex dynamics that underlie human relationships and human resilience, he has published over 50 articles, one which is in progress, which I'm super excited to hear about, called Fractal Conflict Dynamics, Network Balance, and Dating Resilience.
It's published.
Fuck you, really?
Yeah, July.
Update your CV.
Good point.
He also
Fractal
gave
is a great word.
He
Fractal,
also
I know, I
gave
like that.
one of the best speeches I have ever heard. His hilarious and smart banter helps me really wanted to bring him on this podcast. And he wrote a book, or started to, about courtship gaps in modern dating. Welcome, Dr. Dave Pincus, to What's Your Position? We're so happy that you're here. Thank you for being here.
That was heavy. That intro was very intimidating.
It's you.
He's like, shit, I
You're a
gotta
real cool
fucking
guy.
come through. I
It's
gotta
all
come
about
through
you.
on
It's
this.
all your stuff.
Oh my.
I got it from like 4 websites.
No, it's cool. You give someone enough time and
Do you still
some
practice clinical
stats,
psychology?
software. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
How many? Do you have like
I
active?
couldn't not.
you-
I
oh,
couldn't
really?
not. Yeah. That was-
What is your most?
When I
like-
started grad school, I committed to myself I will not go into academia. The
LOL.
one thing I won't do. Will not, because I was a clinician. I was a social worker for 4 years.
yeah.
I was the goofball. I got like somewhere between 12 and 15,000 hours of supervised
Yeah.
clinical
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
experience before the license.
Yeah.
You have to get 3, right? People are usually limping across the line. I love clinical work.
Cool.
Oh.
Who do you like working with the most?
Couples are the hardest.
Okay. Are they the
So in
most
a way-
rewarding? But
In a way, if because of a challenge, it's like if
Right.
you're a rock climber, it's like, but it's perilous. I mean, you're
Right.
really without a net.
yeah.
It's got the worst outcomes. at least that was the case when I trained. I think probably the numbers are the same. And you really you don't know. I mean, you never know in therapy. You get all this training to walk in and be totally ignorant. That's really the key, is that you walk in not knowing.
You get all this training to be an absolute idiot.
And with couples, you're the most. You don't know what they're going to bring in. And it's a complex landscape because it's two people, not one.
So it's two personalities, two social schemas, two
and you have to
relationship.
You have to keep the relationship as your client, and you got two people vying to have you help them.
Right.
So you don't normally have to
like crazy.
Push back on an alliance with a client if you're individual, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be able to say, I understand where you're coming from, but if I give you too much sympathy right now, we're going to lose him.
Yeah.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Right.
So did you hear that the way you explained it to me is really painful for him? Look at his face right now.
Right.
Right.
I mean, those kind of moves you don't have to do with individual therapy.
Right.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause you got to not leverage, but yeah, you got to,
Tricky.
you got to kind of walk down this narrow path. If you go one way too far, the other way too far, you're going to
Such a
lose
balance.
the other one or piss the other one off, or they're not going to feel like
Okay.
you're taking them seriously.
Yeah, and they get the least training and the least credit and the
Yeah.
worst outcomes, but it's very hard.
And the
work.
most random shit thrown at you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in your opinion, I'm going to throw you
Fine.
a fucking bone right now, and I want you to just bat it back like it's a shuttlecock. Okay, as an experienced clinical psychologist, as somebody who has worked with couples,
Yeah.
what do you think first
Yeah.
is the most common solvable problem that people come to couples therapy for, and what do you think is the most difficult thing to overcome as a couple?
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, jeez. The most common solvable problem. Ooh, that's hard. That's hard. I'm going to keep saying it's hard while I think, because we don't want dead air.
He's all, oh, great.
not a
Now you
radio
gave me
person.
something I wasn't prepared for.
It's not content level. There's not a common denominator. That's
No.
what's hard about the question. The process level,
Yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's when, and this is going to sound goofy,
No.
okay? But this is honest. It's when both people have the solution, the other solution, you get it, to some developmental injury or hurt or pain, or it's in that dating book. I gave credit to Zagarnik, Judith Zagarnik, which I like to do. She was I like the researchers that don't get credit in
Right.
history.
Yeah.
Right.
She was a Russian Gestalt psychologist past the turn of the century, and people learn Gestalt, and it's in the textbook. She doesn't get mentioned. She did all of her research. Her whole career was on the last puzzle piece, basically. The
Right.
Zagarnik effect, they call it. I'll get to the point,
I got
Professor
you.
Itis.
Get there.
We got
No,
we got 45 minutes.
Take your time.
Okay.
I'll bring
We're
you back.
not live, by the way. Are
No,
we really?
I'll bring you back
You
if
said
I
it
need.
was live.
No, I'll bring you back if I need to. I got
But
you.
we won't cut anything out.
So what she studied is the built-in hardwired cognitive trait that if we have a problem that's almost solved but not quite, if there's one piece left, if you got a puzzle and it's half done, you let it go. You go do
Yeah.
something else. You might
Right.
not even return. But if you got one piece left, you can't let it go. You're preoccupied.
Yep.
You can't let it
Yeah.
go. That's like our developmental problems. So we all have them. And because couples are so close, they bump up, they rub up against each other.
Right.
They find their way to each other's one missing piece.
And they think they know.
Well, they hide the piece. They frustrate one another. They hurt.
Ooh.
They hurt the same way they got hurt, because it's
Yep.
almost always hurt.
Oh.
So when I'm hurting you while you're hurting me, and then right behind it, it's like a half inch away. It's almost like
So frustrating.
like multiverse kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I can see it as the therapist.
Can you just give it to them?
You have no. I
You gotta
always
lead
want
them
to, and
to it, yeah?
sometimes I
You
do
gotta lead
cheat
them
and
to it.
try, and it never works.
Oh, damn it.
That's the hard part. You got to be like Columbo, like the old detective show. Nobody's seen that anymore.
Oh, yeah. I remember
I've seen
Columbo.
Columbo.
You know,
Get outta here.
I remember one more thing I just wanted to ask. Like, does he resemble your mom somehow? I mean, you mentioned earlier she used to
She used to
leave
leave
you hanging,
arguments.
and right when you were really hurt, she'd just run away from you and leave you feeling abandoned. Like, it kind of seems the same. And then you say it, and then, the others. And so, anyway, that's the most common.
Okay.
Is you're another way to think of it is we all got bruises.
Yep.
If you held your emotional injuries from your development
Mm-hmm.
on your chest, who's going to bump into them? Your partner, because you're hugging constantly.
Yeah.
As soon as you get close. And when people push on each other's buttons at the same time, it's just a timing issue.
Yeah.
And so a lot of couples therapists don't know, but that's the main thing is just working out the timing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to take turns on this.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you guys are both in serious pain. So
Yeah.
you need to hold your pain.
I hear that you're in pain. Give me a second. They're in pain
You're
too.
going to be a
You're
champion.
both-
You're going to do empathy while you're in pain. That's
Right.
the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And then the simplest?
Yeah.
The simplest. Oh, well, it's a sex podcast most of the time, right?
Bring it on.
That's the
Bring it.
simplest. Sex therapy has the best outcomes.
Yes, it does.
Couples therapy is the worst.
Yeah.
So if you got a sex problem and it's low hanging fruit and that you just need a
Threesomes?
That can be
Like
a timing
threesomes,
problem
that's what you guys
too.
should do.
I
I
need to get
Somebody else said.
I prescribe threesomes. Have a great day.
Do you guys have a close friend?
Do they
female or
have
male or otherwise?
do they have a third participant at the pharmacy? Like, 'cause if
Can
I
you
could
write a prescription?
It's coming in a little prescription bottle.
I'm sorry, we only have
It's
this
just ad lib.
gender and height. You're gonna need to come back unless this
my
is
God.
fine.
Yeah.
So it turns out that
Hip
they're
reflex. By the way, I am not representing Chapman University or any of its administrators today. I
It's
am
okay.
strictly giving my own opinion.
we have a disclaimer at the end that
Oh,
says
great.
that. It's fine.
Yeah, you can cut that out.
Turns out there are over 500,000 books and more than 5,000 registered
the stat?
dating and relationship podcasts, this being one of them, which we have to sift through when we're dating and in
500,000?
Over 500,000 published books on
Wow.
dating and relationships and over 5,000 registered podcasts about dating and relationships. I'm going to give you 5 at the end, by the way, 5 podcasts that you can listen to. So stick around until the end of that. What's more, many of these books and podcasts are based on opinion and perspective and are not based on facts or research and do not approach it from
Right. So it's not a one size fits all because
Right.
people are like, I don't have that problem.
Exactly. Or I
That's
do.
not us.
Or I have that exact problem. So hearing my struggles, hearing my woes, hearing my trials and tribulations regurgitated back to me
Yeah.
is so, it's like a salve to my dating burnt soul from this
Yeah.
date that I didn't get called back from because she's a bitch or because he's a dick, right? Hearing these stories, hearing these troubles from an opinion-based source is very alleviating of a problem that is going to not be temporary. This is a long-term problem and you are alleviating the temporary pain for this. I wish that people would stick to the books and the podcasts that are giving you tools to better yourself, not the tools to make you blame the other. Let me give you
Not my
a
fault.
great piece of advice. Not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Just because you go on a date with someone who's rude or who doesn't offer to split the check or who doesn't call you again or who says something rude or off-putting, that doesn't reflect you. That reflects them. And so often in today's dating culture, I see men and women complaining about the other. He watches porn. She's a size queen. He mansplains. She's high maintenance. He doesn't make enough money. She's slept with too many people. Shut the fuck up. If you don't like the way he talks, if you don't like the size of her tits, if you don't like the size of his paycheck, if you don't like her sexual kinks or his religion, don't date them. It's that easy. Or is it? Is it that easy?
You'd think.
Okay, so we're going to discuss today dating from a male gaze, and I want to preface this by telling you that we are specifically looking through a hetero male gaze because, if I'm being honest, we could talk about dating for an entire fucking season.
Oh, yeah.
We could do a whole season on dating from the perspective of a heterosexual male. Let's start with just one focus. There are plenty of bad habits, plenty of horror stories, plenty of entitlement, plenty of idiocracy and fear and shame and misinformation between all the sexes, all the orientations, and all the dynamics and dyads that make up relationships. But today, we are talking to someone who wrote a book, almost, about the courtship gap, modern dating, and what men can do to educate themselves from one of my favorite perspectives, Dave, the biopsychosocial perspective. About
I think about that all the time.
I love this perspective so much. I do it in all my classes.
I have no clue what they're talking
That's okay. I'm going to ask Dave to explain it to us. We're going to talk to men about how they can educate themselves about how dating has changed and evolved over time, how to adapt, and in the words of a brilliant human being, how to become resilient. Okay? It's you.
Okay, as soon as they arrive.
It is you. Dave, tell us how to look at dating through a biopsychosocial lens.
How to make biopsychosocial simpler.
Sexy.
So they, all right,
No,
Kevin.
how to make it sexy.
Sexy?
Make biopsychosocial sexy.
Oh, okay. That's much easier. Kevin, you be the judge. You're going to need to get it and be turned on.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're turned on at the end of this, babe, let me know. Okay. All right.
Evolution. That's kind of
Sexy.
sexy.
That'll get me.
I got to do
That'll
it with
get me.
evolution, even if it's not initially sexy.
Okay.
So, a lot of our problems, especially dating, I would propose, and this is what I think people don't see, is that dating is another mismatch of evolution.
Okay. How so?
Oh.
People understand, I think, pretty well. It's easier to explain the Savannah hypothesis around overweight. So we evolved for hundreds of thousands of years. Think like, you know, I'm of the Jewish persuasion. I know that's wild. I'm the only professor ever. So we had Rosh Hashanah a couple days ago. The
We
New
did.
Year.
Wait, am I allowed to say happy Rosh Hashanah?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Cheers to Rosh
I didn't pay
Hashanah.
attention in Hebrew school, I'll
Cool.
be honest. I learned it all phonetically. But anyway,
Phonetically.
Rabbinical school.
no, really, it was rough. Anyway, what's my point? Oh, we're at almost 6,000 years on the Jewish calendar.
Okay.
And that's the most ancient one we have, except for like Zoroastrianism or something.
Sure.
Just, you know, who knows if they're telling the
And
truth.
the Aztecs have one that's long too.
Sure, but they're gone.
Oh.
So, I mean, yeah.
We're not talking about that.
knock on wood.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Like we were here right now.
Middle East notwithstanding. Okay, politics aside, here we go. Hundreds of thousands of years. So that's the scale at which biological evolution works. So we evolved. Here's the simple story for like my Psych 101 canned example. If you're walking across the savannah, you're a hunter-gatherer, here's your life. You're born into a tribe, you die in the same tribe. You have a vision quest around age 12. Your marrying age by 13 or 14. Marriage is not for love, romance, any of the nonsense you
Pump
named.
out those kids.
Yeah, it's not, oh, we like the same,
Sushi.
yeah, what, the same anime. I don't like that anime. It's none of that. And none of the pressure's on anybody, but certainly not the male.
No.
The male is the last one considered, the least important part of that whole thing. The male, the family, it was never even like dowries and whatnot.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
almost universal in tribal, society.
Yeah.
Beyond tribal.
It's really the guy, just plug him in. That we have the remnant of that where the guy just shows up at the wedding, and he's already, he doesn't have to walk down. Most of the time he's already standing there. They don't want to mess around. Let's not let him walk. Just leave him there. The bride will walk down,
He doesn't need to do all that.
It's a remnant of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all arranged. Now, think back. It wasn't horrible. We think of arranged marriage as horrible. Oh, it's oppressive.
Because it doesn't, no choice. Like, what about choice?
But choice
Right.
is great within a range. Dumb example, it takes me far afield, but Cheesecake Factory.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about like ice cream.
psychic.
Yeah. Yes, if you have too many choices,
menu's
you're fucking
oppressive.
overwhelmed.
You walk into In-N-Out,
Plus, it's all good.
Come
Yeah,
on.
that's why In-N-Out rules. They've got
And it's all
four
good,
things.
right? So you don't know, like, some of it's bad. I mean, you've got like 70% good, 30%
If you were like
bad.
me, early developing libido or whatever.
Sure.
So go to middle school if you need to, or
Sure.
high school. But for me, grade school, there were 2 or 3 girls in my grade school class. It would have been fine. Could have worked. it's not like the pairing. If the guy was like, no, kin, it wasn't even mom and dad. The nuclear family's made up. It's not even real.
Yeah.
That's a brand new invention in the United States from the 50s.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
marketing.
It is.
It was marketing from World War II and also from the Cold War when we were like, look at how there is no families in Russia. And we did these posters of how Russian women were leaving their children and how the nuclear family was going to save America. And now
nuclear, 'cause
it's insane. And now we have all these families that are supposed to be 2.5 children. Where's the fucking 0.5 coming from is my fucking question.
So it was the whole tribe.
Yeah, the whole tribe.
And it's biologically necessary, but it's socially necessary too. So biological, the psychological's in the middle, like the ice cream in an ice cream sandwich, right? And the social's on the top. And when they're working, in harmony, you've got a tribe, because that's where we evolved. I don't want to go back to a tribe. I'm not sharing my toothbrush. I don't want. I don't want to live with my parents.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'll visit them at Thanksgiving.
Teepee or a mud hut or.
It's great.
No.
But
I don't wanna
we're
do that.
free. But that lays all the responsibility on us. So we're stuck with this drive to pair. That's, tens of thousands of years old, and it's the center of our biology.
Right.
Yeah.
We're built for it. And it kicks in way too young in modern society.
Yep.
So we're frustrated, and you're waiting, and it doesn't make sense, and you have to, all sitting in a school and whatnot. So anyway, back to the potato chip example. If ancient people, which we still are, because biological evolution is wicked slow, doesn't keep up with cultural evolution, doesn't keep up with psychological evolution. That's a lifespan psychological. Cultural is a century or so for a culture to evolve, maybe decades. Right after World War II, it was decades. Speeds up.
I think
and by the way,
the
Darwin
technology
wrote a book about this, but no one read it, including me. But I've heard it summarized.
I've heard about it though. Like
The Descent of Man. It was 19 years after The Origin of Species, and this was specific to human evolution. And he wrote about all of these topics.
Yep.
And the person I heard give a talk on this, I forget his name. He's dead though, so I guess it's okay. He won't mind. It was at the Chaos Conference way back when I was a
Professor
student.
Chaos.
Professor Chaos.
He
That's what I'm
did just
calling
a
you from now
word
on.
frequency count because that was new tech at the time. And he counted up greedy genes or survival of the fittest, like how many times these kind of words showed up versus love. And love was like thousands of times in this book. He was writing about love and courtship and how it doesn't fit. And how humans are unique in this way.
Yeah.
He was making... evolutionary psychology back in the 1800s, but nobody
was fucking listening to that.
read it.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you found Pringles out on the savannah, here's the biological part. We have neuropeptides, endogenous opiates, that make you eat fast, really fast. If you have a high salt, high carb, high fat food like Pringles.
Oh, okay.
Pringles is my favorite example. So the person's they're taking that down. They're not going to tell anybody. They'll go back to the tribe. They'll leave
that.
the can and they'll never tell anybody.
No.
Like
my
you
fucking
eat really
Pringles.
fast. That's why when you eat chips, you got your left hand. You're like, whoa, there's a bunch of chips there. That's positive. So I never have to slow down.
yeah.
CCK8 is the name of that neuropeptide. I never forget it. That's the one. And it's
Sounds like a band.
specific for eating latency, and it's just for high calorie, dense, fatty, carb rich
Oreos.
foods. So we have that for sex too.
Oh.
There's the biological piece. The young men in particular, women too,
Yeah.
are very horny at the wrong time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It used to be you're born in a tribe, you die in a tribe, you have a vision quest or some, coming of age ritual.
Sure.
And then everyone helps you out.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, there's 2 or 3 I like and they like you too, and that's going to work. You know what I mean? It wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
But we're out of it. I write in the book about Garden of Eden. It's really a perfect metaphor for it. You eat the apple, knowledge is great. You get freedom. You can leave the garden now, though.
Yeah.
And
You
now
can
you're
join
on your
Tinder.
Own. And not,
Leave the
now
garden
you're
and
on-
join Tinder.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Yes.
Instead of just Eve, now you have Eve,
4
Yvette.
billion.
And now you have 4
8
billion
billion.
Eves, right?
So it's wicked hard.
It's hard.
It's really, really, really hard. And then we have fundamental attribution, last point.
Yeah.
So the biological part is evolution, Kevin. Right? And we're built to mate.
Yeah.
And we need to. It's a biological imperative. It's built into us. It's like salmon swimming upstream. Like,
Right.
it's ridiculous behavior, but, look at 8th graders.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a salmon swimming upstream. That's the bio part. The psychological part is, oh, I suck at this. I'm failing. I don't know what to do. You're not supposed to. Because the social part, we've evolved out of it. We're kicked out the garden. They're not in sync.
Yeah.
It's not that sexy, but think back to 8th grade.
But
and
we're also
think about
not
the girl
giving
you had a
people
crush on and it
tools.
didn't
Yeah.
work out. If you want a little
Right.
No
lift,
one's
you
telling-
can think back to then because that's when you were the most virile.
And
Right.
not only that, but the people who are invading our social spaces are people who we don't mention on this podcast. The Voldemort of this podcast. His initials
Yeah, we don't
are
fucking
Yeah.
talk about
AT.
people like that.
And he's
Yeah.
a fucking mastermind. He's bad. We hate him. Exactly. He is the Dark Lord.
father. Celibacy is good. Throw on a black cloak.
Yeah.
You'll never
Semen
need sex
retention.
again.
Oh, God.
Embrace aggression.
Defame women. Okay, so here
What's a woman?
she's horrible. We're going to talk about how dating for marriage is a terrible plan and how dating for marriage can actually be hindering people's ability to date with joy and date with resilience. Okay.
Huh. Okay.
So here are some facts about marriage comparison between 1960 and today. Number one, marriage rates have declined. In 1960, about 72% of the American adult population, meaning people age 18 and over, were married. In 2022, only 50% of adults were married, which is a significant decline, especially when we talk about how it is imperative for people to be married in order to be happy, right? People are marrying later in life. So we just had the perfect example of you have a vision quest at 12 and you're married at 13 or 14 years old. People in 1960, the median age of marriage was 22 years old. I tell my human sexuality students this all the fucking time and blow their minds. The median age in 1960 of getting married was 22 years old for men and 20 for women.
Yeah.
In 2022, the median age of first marriage rose to 30 for men and 28 for women.
Easy. I mean, also,
Damn.
isn't that partially because like we're living longer too, right? So people don't feel like the need to like.
Well,
I'm
shit,
not
when you-
sure we are. It's not my area,
Interesting.
but
Okay.
a lot of those.
I was always
a lot
under
of those
the-
life
that assumption.
expectancy
Yeah.
stats. Again, I'm out of my element here. They're a bit biased by death during childbirth.
Correct.
Okay.
Which was
okay. Interesting.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it continues to go up now.
day.
Right.
So that'll skew the average down really heavily.
Also, we had a big, huge skew during COVID because so
Yeah.
many people died in young age during COVID. We had a big skew during that
Yeah.
time. So, what they say, is a shift in priorities, career, financial, and educational priorities have shifted. So,
yeah.
instead of getting married at the age of 20 and not going to college or not getting a job, women are more focused on getting an education and getting a career before they get married.
Bad boss, bitch.
Yes. And actually, this is one of the biggest complaints of incels and of people who follow horrible humans like Voldemort is that women are postponing their age of marriage because they want an education and they want a career. And they're actually selfish for this reason. And they are pushing themselves into latent marriage, which actually makes them less likely to have healthy born children. Again, we're coming back to this evolutionary perspective where the only reason that you get married is to have children, and the only reason that women exist is to pump out babies.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Fuck that.
Can I
Fuck that
please mansplain this for you
Yeah.
gals?
Do it. Do it. Do it.
That you need to
Really need that.
Because
Yeah.
I'm feeling
Let them
entitled,
understand. You need to. They need
you
to
mentioned
understand.
Voldemort.
Go
No,
ahead.
listen. God rest her. Love my mom. Right?
Oh, Mom.
Does that help?
Yeah.
That helps the
that eases
mansplaining?
the pain.
Sure.
She was 19. She went to 2 years of college. That was a prereq for getting married. Dad.
Dad said that.
No. No, in her time.
Oh, okay.
It was the late 50s.
Oh, okay.
It was right in the period you mentioned.
She went to vocational school.
No, she was in 4-year college. She was wicked smart.
Good for her.
But then my dad, who was 2 years older, got into law school. So they moved to Chicago. They had to get married. That was the deal. That was her option. There wasn't another option for her. Didn't matter how smart she was.
No.
And then they moved there. She pointed out to me. I mean, I was in Flex, Mansplain Flex, my women's studies courses. At the time, I went home, for winter break. I'm a young freshman taking, women's studies. Good old Pittsburgh College in the 80s, right? She's like, I'll tell you something, David. We had separate want ads. In the early 60s, there were women's jobs and men's jobs. They were on opposite sides of the paper. I couldn't get a loan from a bank.
No.
I needed either my father or my husband to co-sign.
Couldn't get a credit card until the 70s.
Explain it, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, women, ladies, let me explain something.
This is an example of cultural evolution.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was limiting psychological evolution.
Yep.
And the pill comes in, all the different rights movements in
Yep.
the 60s, women's rights, right, with it. And it's great. But more freedom, more responsibility, more uncertainty, and we're further from the Garden of Eden, which is great.
Yep.
But we got to give ourselves a break. We can't blame. If dating sucks, it's not the individual's fault.
Right.
It's the arena that we have created for everybody.
Right.
It's tough.
It's the outside of the garden.
It's a cheesecake
Okay.
factory.
Yeah.
You got to knowing what you want.
You got to know that you want the
Yeah.
Louisiana jambalaya.
And anybody
Yes.
who doesn't know Cheesecake Factory, they have about 5,000 different
Oh, God,
individual
please
items.
look up the menu. If you are from another country,
Yeah.
P.S., we love our listeners in other
Yeah,
countries. Please go ahead and look up the menu for
Also, look up
Cheesecake
some pictures
Factory.
of the inside because you'll get it.
Yeah.
You'll understand. It's
The
so
inside's very confusing.
opulent
Yeah.
and comfortable at the same time.
Yeah.
This is going to bring me to my stat
Oh, fun.
of the day. Cohabitation before marriage. What? That's not what you're. What? That's not what you guessed. Okay, so I'm going to ask you what you guessed in just a second. So Dave was very excited about deciding which one I was going to talk about.
I didn't even know. He told me, but I was like, I don't know. I have a million different statistics that she could pick from.
Yep.
I have never
poster
no
someone
fucking
about
clue.
this.
We should.
No, I for Quad S, it was about like people arguing in relationships during COVID, and obviously they argued more.
Oh yeah, because they were cohabitating.
Yeah.
You're right.
Exactly.
Cohabitation before marriage is much more common, which is, I think, a great thing.
Same.
I think living with a person that you are going to spend the rest of your life with prior to agreeing and signing a fucking contract, a legally binding contract that says you are going to live with them forever, living with them ahead of time is probably the best thing you could possibly do.
And splitting your shit if it doesn't work out.
Oh my God. So hard.
So romantic.
Jesus.
I know, right?
He's Mr. Romance.
Is it 60%?
In 1960, you get a chance to guess in a second here, Dave.
sorry,
In
sorry.
1960, cohabitation before marriage was not socially acceptable. In the 50s, 0.7% of people cohabitated before their first marriage. In the 1960s, it was
0.7?
0.7. In the 1960s, it was 3%. And in the late 1960s, it had gone to 6.5%. In 2020,
Ooh.
what was the rate of cohabitation of unmarried couples in 2020? 2020. What was the rate of cohabitation amongst unmarried couples?
Does this count COVID?
60.
In 2020. This was by the 2020s, is what they said.
What month in 2020?
By the 2020s. I don't have those details.
That's important though.
No, it isn't.
For COVID.
Honey,
Okay, fine.
by the late 2020s or by the late 20 teens, what was the rate of cohabitation?
I'm gonna say 38%.
38%. Mia has locked in her vote.
45.
Husband Kevin Weller has locked his in with 45.
I'm wrong. It should be 60, but I'm guessing 60, but it's not. I'm wrong.
Okay.
What do you think? It's lower or higher?
I think it's lower.
Okay.
I think-
So we're
I think
locking it in.
Mia's got it right.
We're actually not going to tell you until the end of the episode. What did you think my statistic was going to be about?
I thought it was going to be a virgin age for men.
Wait, can we do a double stat?
Yes, we can.
Well, I don't know what it is exactly
I'm
because
going to
it's
look
a
it up.
fumbled
Nope.
stat. you're going to run into
I
articles.
can look it up. So
It's actually
present,
debated.
Present what you told me, but present it in a what.
So how many men who got married in the 60s had never had sex versus how many men today had not had sex?
Briefly, it used to be...
Or an age.
I don't think it was the 60s. I think it was around 2000. It was supposedly 19%. Past, like, into early 20s. I'm going on memory here. And it had jumped up to 30%, supposedly.
But what is the question?
The question is...
What percentage of young adult males are virgin?
Males over the age of 18
Yeah.
have not engaged in sexual intercourse.
And the problem with the stat is that
The word sexual intercourse means so many things to so many people, first of all.
well, there's that. Oh, definitely. I
Also,
didn't even think of
virginity is
that.
a social construct.
I'll
is
say
number two.
penetrative sex.
Agree.
Penetrative
sex.
There you
Yes.
go. Okay.
Much better.
Yeah.
Thank you for defining
Yeah,
that.
vaginal penetrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Do that. We love a
The
definition.
problem is they started counting on the stat at 18. So if they'd done it before that, it didn't count.
Oh.
So you're inflating from that.
Right.
And then the bigger problem is it drops precipitously from 8. They're almost all 18 to 20.
Yeah.
So you get past 20, it's a lot more.
It's a lot more.
sex.
And also,
Penetrative
there's less people who are going to admit this, so a lot of people will falsify the information simply because of
it's a
not
tough
wanting
stat.
to. Yeah,
But
it's
it's
a tough
delayed.
stat.
It's delayed more than it was.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree. And he's going to look that up. Divorce rates have also stabilized. So divorces began rising significantly in the 1970s. And this probably had a lot to do with the fact that women were allowed to purchase land, own property, get a credit card, and open bank accounts without a husband or a father. And so that meant that men... in relationships where there was no more joy, no more happiness, or in the worst case scenarios, abuse taking place, women could leave those relationships and still be financially stable and financially powerful and, live life as a fucking human being. It peaked in the 1980s, but since the early 2000s, divorce rates have actually declined, and millennials, us baby, are divorcing less compared to previous generations.
Very
and
nice.
researchers say that this is likely due to them marrying later. So your whole fucking brain forms.
Yeah,
Your
hello?
entire prefrontal cortex is formed, motherfucker. You're not marrying at the age of 20 when you don't even know what kind of fucking salsa you like. You're cohabitating first. So you're finding out these idiosyncrasies of this person when they leave their clothes on the floor, or how they react when their team loses, or what it's like when they get a cold, or what it's like to travel with them, and having more stable relationships because of the option of people going to therapy, and because therapy is more acceptable, and their relationships are more stable and have gone through more trials and tribulations when they do get married. Dave? Why do you think divorce rates have declined? Because I said something and you shook your fucking head like I was a crazy person.
No, it wasn't that part. They've declined, I think, because they hit a max. The 50%, and the other 50%, sorry, it's not going to help my marital counseling practice. 50% of the ones that don't get divorced aren't happy. They're not happily married. They settle into something. So you got about it.
Yeah.
It's like a batting average, basically. It's basically about as good as a major league hitter.
Right, which is low, right? If you're batting 250, you're pretty fucking good.
You're
in
amazing,
baseball.
but what it tells you is
you'll
that hitting a
probably stay
baseball
on
is
the
nearly
roster.
impossible.
Yeah.
And so what it tells you is marriage is nearly impossible in this day and age.
Yeah.
It was fine in tribal societies because
Everyone
you
helps.
didn't have a myths. Marry for love. That once you're in love, that's it. Freaking Snow White, you kidding? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's all these myths. And that's all you need is love. All you need is, I love the Beatles.
I love them too.
It's true, but not romantic love. All you need is love for humanity and whatnot. These
Right.
guys were cosmic. They were taking LSD.
They were
talking
smoking. They were smoking reefer and
was everything.
dropping LSD.
Love in the greater sense.
They were
Yeah.
going to Maharishi Mashashashi.
Right. They were. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of stuff.
Peyote
It's
and
the
shit.
60s. They weren't talking about. No, it's not. We've adjusted that. It's not all you need is love to make a marriage work. It's
No, God.
It's
Yeah.
necessary. You're better off with respect. And then you build from there.
Yeah.
And then you find love. Like love is like happiness.
Yeah, because I mean, think about how
a byproduct.
fiery love can be and how terrible. People could
Tumultuous.
be for somebody,
Yeah.
but they have this deep passion for one another, but they're so wrong.
Yeah.
They don't like the same things, and they do toxic shit
Yeah.
to one another. And
Yeah. And we've
themselves.
created this society where we talk
But
about,
they're like, we love each
Love is
other.
all that matters. And it's
Yeah.
like, whoa,
What-
no.
Yeah, no. Love is the effect. It's not a goal. If your goal is to find love,
Yeah.
no. It's like trying to find
I will
happiness.
eventually.
Terrible idea.
I will find somebody if you like. They're like, well, they're tolerable, but I will learn to love them.
Well, that's not great either.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm agreeing because you've heard people say, well, I'll learn to love him. I'll learn
What?
to love her.
Sternberg model's great on that regard. The triarchic theory of love. I change it. He has different labels. I need alliteration to remember. Chemistry is first. That's like the rocket fuel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta feel chemistry at first. Gotta have
Oh,
that
yeah.
magic, that
Yeah.
that good friction, right?
Yeah.
Early on, that gets you out of Earth's orbit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Out into orbit, out of the gravitational
bolts
field.
your brain. It sets your electrodes on fire.
Oh, it's the
And when-
biopsychosocial. Now you're going to get
the
horny.
biopsychosocial. Now
That's
we're
the
getting
bio
horny,
part.
right?
Psychologically, you can't resist it. It's like an addiction, but a good
Yep.
one.
Yeah.
And then you get in orbit. Then it's chemistry. Then it's holding hands a little bit, even though it's a little close for me because I'm a little avoidant. But I'll do it for you, right? And we find shared things. You have a good time. You go to air shows and whatnot,
Yeah.
right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You get that hat, and you remember that hat you got at the air show. I'm gonna put it on and remember that time.
Yeah.
And then commitment, and couples that you got to always remake the rocket fuel.
Yep.
The chemistry drains out. It's like when the space shuttle drops its fuel tank.
Yeah.
Most marriages will drop their fuel tank. You have to work to keep the chemistry
Yeah. It's kinda
going.
little stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Some berry water.
It's good.
Or a thruple or whatever.
good.
On this podcast, there's a million ways to do that, right?
Yeah. No, there
Okay.
is.
You open it up, you do whatever. So, anyway,
Yeah.
the,
Anyways.
the companionship is easier.
Yeah.
The commitment, but you end up with a couple with just commitment or just companionship. That's where you get into. It's not necessarily a terrible marriage, but it's that half of the ones that stay
Yeah.
married where it's not all the way. You
Right.
know what I mean?
You don't want consummate. You don't want companionate love. You don't want
Yeah.
just passionate love. You don't want just infatuation. You want to find that consummate where it's constantly rebuilding and you are always looking to make your partner happy because it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Doing the things that you
You
want.
just nailed it.
Yeah.
If you get there in couples therapy, that's it.
Yeah.
If the couple realizes that and experiences it,
Baby.
that's the door.
We broke
Yeah.
it.
You broke it.
We broke the matrix.
What
High
I was
five.
shaking my head at, by the way, was that that the prefrontal cortex stuff, and you don't really mature till 24. I'm not all the way sold on that.
Are you not?
No, I'm the
Okay.
only one. But
We're going
it's
to
fine.
talk about this off air.
All right. All right.
When we come back. Oh, wait. First, did you have a virgin stat you wanted to give us?
Oh, you want me to give that?
Right now.
Okay, so I'll say it like this. Okay, so 45% of the males and females have not had sex by 18.
Okay. So a majority of males and females have had sex before the
Right.
age of 18. Got it. Okay.
Have not had, yeah.
Have had sex.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
What did you think it was?
No, what? But did you find one on males?
No, this one is for men. It's hard to find.
Oh, I'm going to find it.
Yeah, find it. Yeah,
I'm
and then
gonna
we'll,
find it
we'll
on
have it
the
at break.
I'm
We'll be
gonna
able to do
find
it.
it on
Yeah,
the
yeah, definitely.
When we come back, I would love for you to talk about the principle of endogamy.
I don't like
endogamy.
Origami?
I'm not a fan of jargon, so we could just go right to what the concept is because I don't know what that
Okay.
is.
And then
Similarity and dissimilarity, is that what it's about?
it's about
How similar or
the
different your
principle
partner is?
of marrying within one's group.
I'm good with that.
And then also how men and women tend to marry up or down. And then we're also going to talk about the 5 things, according to research, that men do that turns women off in dates. And subsequently, the 5 things per research that women find the most attractive. And then I am also going to give you some podcasts to listen to help up your dating game and better yourself. We will be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
It's God who took the sun, cannot be the one living in her mind. Take care, my love, she says. Don't think that God is dead. Take care, my love, she said. You have been loved. Whoa.
Is your bedroom getting boring? Does your sex life feel stale? Or are you just looking for a fun date night activity? Aria has got you covered. Aria's carefully cultivated, choose your own adventure box is like no subscription service you have ever encountered. You and your partner fill out a sexy questionnaire to help the intimacy experts tailor your boxes to your comfortability, range of sexual likes and dislikes, and create specialized scenes for both of you to enjoy. Each box is hand curated with high quality items to enhance your sexy scene and includes Spotify playlists, provides ideas for starting the scene, and encourages you to have boundaries, safe words, and aftercare. And throughout the process, your personal concierge will text you, email you, and get you excited for your sexy night in. Whether you're looking to increase your kink or just become closer to your partner, Aria has a scene for you. Visit aria.fyi.com and use our code WYP15 at checkout for 15% off your first 3 months and try on a new side of your sensual self. That's WYP15. Aria, your playful mentor for all things sexy.
You got a smile so bright. You know you could have been a candle. I'm holding you so tight. You know you could have been a handle. The way you swept me off my feet. You know you could have been a bruise. Baby, you're so sweet. You know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to, and I can tell the way you do the things you do.
The way you do the things you do, the way you do. Welcome back, fellow humans, to this full frontal. I forgot how much I love that song. Thank you for suggesting it.
You're welcome. That was my wedding song.
What?
Ooh.
Yes.
This version?
Put it up a little bit.
No, it was the Jerry Garcia version.
Oh.
Jerry Day.
This
version's
this is
great,
Jerry,
too, then.
this is a Jerry.
This is Jerry Garcia.
Oh, never mind then. See, I'm a space cadet because the goofy
Don't worry,
part is
I
the
do
other
shit like that all the time.
the
And
other song that I chose.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, I got mixed up, and
To George
I
Michael
forgot-
one?
no,
Oh,
not
because that's the
George
one we
Michael.
played earlier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, I got this one mixed up with another one, and then when it played at the wedding, I got confused, and my wife had to like neuroatypically manage me.
I'm gonna try to find another one. Maybe just
I love it. I'm going to tell you guys about some
Anyway, that's a great
virgin stats. Okay, so I found the thing that you were talking about.
I'm going to change this. Oh yeah, no, this is.
Oh, did you find something?
Yeah, I'm gonna change it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, then we're gonna outro it.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna outro.
So the General Society survey in 2018, as reported by the Washington Post, it was a survey that has now become a meme because it was data that was collected in 2017, and it asked a question. Thinking about the time since your 18th birthday, how many female partners have you had sex with? That was the question. And according to the answer of this, over 27% of males over the age of 18 state they had not had sex with a female partner. The problem with this is the way they phrased the question, in my personal opinion, since the time since your 18th birthday. So that doesn't include anything prior to that, right? So it doesn't include 16, 17, 15, when most people have their first sexual encounter, which doesn't necessarily mean penetrative sex, is around the age of 15 and a half. And when people have their first penetrative sex in this country is typically around the age of 17.6.
Right. But
it asked this question, and the graphic that was shown is insane. So 1989, only about 10% of people over the age of 18 had said they hadn't had sex, and it just skyrockets from 2008, from down at 8% in 2008 up to 27% in 2018. And that is actually not factual. So, according to the CDC, which looked at census results during 2015 to 2017, 42% of never married female and 38% of never married male teenagers had never had sexual intercourse. So 42% of females, 38% of males had never had sexual intercourse. And then among male teenagers, the percentage who had never had sexual intercourse declined actually by 17% between 2002 and 2017.
Whoa.
I know.
it is going down.
Yeah. So the number of males who are not engaging in sexual intercourse
Is increasing.
Is decreasing.
Oh, sorry.
Did I say that wrong? The percentage who had ever had sexual intercourse declined by 17%. Who had ever had it.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Because the other
That's what I
question,
meant, yeah.
the other question said, since your 18th birthday, have you had sex? And that number had gone up.
Yeah.
But among male teenagers, the percentage who had ever had sexual intercourse declined.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
This significant percentage of male teenagers who had never had sexual intercourse. There's a lot of reasons that researchers will
Attribute
cite.
it. Yeah.
Thank you, and attribute to that. One of which is religion. There is actually a growing.
Really?
Yes. Voldemort has a lot to do with this. Sperm retention, semen retention has a lot to do with this, and a perpetuation of of not engaging in hookup culture, which is huge and was big for late millennials. Hookup culture was really big, and there's a lot of students that I talk to who take my human sexuality class who do not participate in hookup culture whatsoever.
But wait, how is it religion?
Yeah, that's
one aspect.
Okay.
One aspect,
and then it's the not hookup culture.
Hookup culture is another aspect. So religion, because they don't want people to have sex before
this
marriage.
Is a whole nother fucking offshoot. But like I thought religion was dying on all fronts.
That's why I asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
In America, it's dying, but it's making a resurgence with recent political climates.
Well, if you think about it, all the woo-woo females that are out there today.
You mean the people who charge their crystals?
Yeah.
You're looking at one, so go fuck yourself.
I know, moon water, ma'am.
I'll kill you. I'll fucking
moon water. Does anybody want to talk about the moon water? Okay.
This is not an episode about moon water.
I know. But I'm just wondering, it's a fictional false there's no okay.
There's no science behind moon water.
Right. There's no science behind moon water, but it's increasing, and so is like the horoscope and the whatever. So it almost is like science was taking over, right? And everybody thought, and then now it's like, we don't really care. We know it's probably not true, but it feels good.
There's also another aspect that I think needs to be considered, and that's COVID. And I think COVID had a huge fucking impact on people's ability to be around other people, to go on dates, to experience interaction with fellow human beings. And because there's an entire generation of people who spent 4 years existing on the internet prior to COVID, they spent 16 and 17 playing Minecraft and
I hate to say especially the boys.
No, especially the boys.
I really think
but it's especially the boys. Yeah.
Screaming at each other on Fortnite.
Yeah.
The most uncopacetic
you're absolutely
courtship possible.
And I think that there is a ton of individuals who didn't have a lot of exposure to the opposite sex at 15 or 16. And then at the point where they were supposed to start getting this exposure, we shut the world down for 2 fucking years. And at this point in their sexual journey, in this vision quest of theirs that should have been 16, 17, and 18, they were locked in their house with their fucking mom and their grandma. And internet access was fucking shared, and so was the family computer for a lot of people. So there's not a lot of fucking ability to like go on chat rooms or watch porn or masturbate.
A vision quest on the internet.
Terrible
a vision
idea.
quest supposed to
Pornhub.
Who are you? And how do you fit in the tribe? Those are at least 2 questions.
Yeah.
The internet will tell you you're nobody, you're not enough, and you don't fit in the tribe.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly what it'll tell you. Or you go to
always
BuzzFeed
turns
and
those
it'll tell you
answers.
what kind of cheesecake you are. Who the fuck needs to know this shit? Like, the things that the internet brings to us are so valuable and so invaluable at the same time. It's such a fucking frustrating situation.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, less boys under the age of 18 are having sex. And whether that's because they are waiting for marriage, which we now know the age of marriage is later, or they are waiting to find the one, which isn't a thing, sorry, or they are waiting to engage with a person and they just haven't been able to get themselves online or put themselves out there or go on dates or be hooked up with somebody or find someone at their church or find someone at a concert. Whatever the case may be, young men are having sex less frequently.
Remember the idea that there is only one person
Good God, yes. I was shoved that
in
that
the
was shoved.
entire
Yes.
world that is for you.
God, that's a really
and that is
scary
the
thing.
one.
Yeah.
The one.
Was that ever pushed on you?
Was it pushed on me?
Yeah. Did you ever get told that when you were a kid?
No, not directly.
It's probably like
but
popular media.
It's seeped in.
Right.
It's in all of our myths.
I don't know if my parents or any directly said, "Hey, there's only." I don't think they ever said that, but like I remember hearing that from definitely in like movies and
Look
shit.
at every Disney movie. Like,
Yeah, right.
By
Yeah.
the time you're 4, it's embedded.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it makes it even tougher to exist into the world. Okay, so let's talk about busting some myths. I love a good bust. Myth number 1. The man is supposed to pursue the woman and persuade her to date him. I'm quoting directly from an unpublished book, y'all. Unpublished. This is a ridiculous...
Settling for more, coming soon to some venue. I'm going to finish the thing.
I love it.
I'm
excited.
inspired.
You're gonna come back.
Settling for more, a man's guide to women.
For more, a man's guide to women. Oh my God. We're going to title this episode that. This is a ridiculous myth invented in early part of the 20th century in Western culture and propped up by popular movies and television programs. First of all, being pursued is often a turnoff for women. Second, women lead the process of flirtation, not men. Women who are good at flirting are able to make it feel as if you're leading the process, but you're not. New rule. If she's interested, she'll let you know. Do you know how many people are going to be pissed at this myth listening to this? Super mad.
Whoever wrote that, I mean, that's amazing stuff. It was this guy 10 years ago. I bet
He had it all
I'd be friends
together. He
with this guy.
figured it out.
10 years ago.
Figured it out.
No, it's true. It's wild that we don't know it.
Tell me about this. So as a woman, I am leading men. Am I leading them on, or am I just flirting with them?
This is the one key area that has research behind it. It's really
fuck yeah.
obscure and almost nobody read it. Chaos theory.
Yeah,
Society.
Professor Chaos.
I was the president at the time back in around 2012, 2013. There was this little cat, Tim Perper. He had a British accent. He was shorter than me. He was like 5'3", 5'4". This tiny little guy.
tall as me.
One of his eyes was kind of closed for some reason.
Nice.
It looked like he was squinting, but
Lazy
just
eye.
like on one side. It wasn't lazy. It was like a squint thing.
Got it.
He had a glint in his eye. He was like a little troll dude.
Got it.
But he did great. He was masterful with people. He was an evolutionary biologist. He studied mammals in the wild. He did a whole career with that, watching courtship rituals of like squirrels or whatever. Like, I don't know what they were, but they were mammals, right?
Sure.
Like animals. And then he was like, all right, I've made my way. You know, it's like how he talked.
Pip,
and,
pip.
and he made these math models. He was good with math. That's why he was at the Chaos Conference. He made these math models that were basically like a step ladder with the male and the female, you know, one on the left side, one on the right side. And it was upping the intimacy or going down with the intimacy. And he built, you know, equations to try to predict if who goes first, male or female. And he went, the key is he went into singles bars.
Oh, wow.
He went into bars in the 70s and 80s.
That's great.
He
He
had
just got to
plenty
go
of-
and drink all night.
I know,
while
right?
he
He'd sit there
observed.
and he did the same thing. He has notebooks.
Yeah.
And he kept track of just simply, he'd pick a couple, one or two a night. And he did this for years. So he's
Brilliant
having
research.
a good time.
Brilliant fucking research.
Field research,
Yeah,
field biology,
absolutely.
just classic. Observational.
Anthropology. Yeah.
Well, no, it's just field biology, straight up. And he would get in ears listening. And he did this to me at the conference. I was single at the time. You know, the Society for Chaos Theory doesn't have a lot of women at the conference. There was this one year we were in Berkeley, and there was a dark-haired woman from Iceland with bright blue eyes, little taller than me. And there was some flirtation going on, I think. And Tim crept up, and I saw him with his
little
one
troll.
little Popeye looking, and he was smiling. And I was like, because I knew his model. I'd seen his talk and, you know, read a paper or two. And he was just watching, and I was like, all right, I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm about
So
to
anyway,
hear.
Perper, what he did was he'd measure, is it going towards or away? Are you upping the intimacy or decreasing? And he did subtle things like body position. He'd mark that. Like girl turns towards, it was all
Yeah.
hetero. Guy turns towards, girl turns away. What does guy do?
Yeah.
So there was body position. There was touch. She
Yep.
touches the arm. How does he respond? Then he started looking at depth of conversation, and then he followed it with survey research. Just basic questions. How do you know if someone's interested?
Oh, wow.
This is the fun one. Guess what women say versus men. How do you know if someone's interested? What does a woman say? I'll let you take the woman's.
They want to have sex with me.
Yeah. How can you tell if they're interested?
They have a boner.
No.
All
What
right,
I
that's
think,
like a typical male response.
What I think what it
The
is
women
is-
would say that they're
If they're-
engaged, they're making eye contact.
Right.
Oh, okay.
and it would be like
Kevin,
the
help her
girl
out.
the girl
Mansplain
would
this, please.
the girl would reach out, right? Some of the girls would touch
They
the guy's
notice
arm,
the subtle signals.
right?
And he
She's
would
laughing a lot.
reciprocate.
She's laughing.
Oh, okay.
They notice the
That's
women
stupid.
notice way earlier if the guy's interested.
Oh, yeah.
Way
Oh,
earlier.
yeah.
They're like, I like to call it like at an airport. Like they're ground control. They're like air traffic.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, okay, the jumbo jet's coming in. We see it on the radar. It's
Got it.
2,000 miles away, but we got it. We're tracking it. It's bringing it. You know,
Miles.
or whatever. It's
I always
they
had
know
one. Is a good
early.
one. Is physical contact. Like if
Yeah.
she reaches out and then if I do it back, how does she react to
Kevin,
that?
that means something. See,
Right.
you're unique. You guys are kind of crossed.
I know.
But it's cool. That's great. But most guys will say, my tongue's in her mouth.
Yeah,
We're naked.
right?
We're
Yeah.
naked.
Right.
Penetration is
I
imminent.
just said the exact opposite.
Yeah, but anyway, he found that again and again. And it fits also the courtship sequence.
Yeah.
So what he captured, which I'd never seen anyone do this, the courtship sequence, and then he made a nice math model out of it, and he saw how predictive it was. He tested it out with fresh data. You build a math model, and then you get fresh data and test it. And it was quite valid. Here's how a guy screws up. Woman makes eye contact. They're talking or deepens the conversation. It can be meaning-wise. It can be gesture-wise. It can be physical proximity. If she's near you, I mean, you don't want to be a creep. And nice guys screw this up. I used to screw it up all the time. Oh, I can't assume because she's near me she might be interested. That's rapey and weird. I had 2 older sisters that warned me, be respectful. My parents were divorced. I lived with 3 women for years besides the period syncing, which supposedly isn't true, but it was in my case. And it was rough. And they were all older, 7 and 9 years older. They're like, don't have short man syndrome. They explain that. They help with that.
Thank God.
Just don't be a nice guy. So you can overdo it as a nice guy. And what? You get anxious. Oh, she's attractive. What am I going to do? My killer was I'd look down.
Look down, no eye contact. Yeah.
Look down. And eventually it
Confidence.
took me 10 years when we're like, I thought you weren't interested. because you looked down. I was like, you noticed I looked down? Yeah, we noticed.
It's hard for guys because they're also wondering, are we getting friend zoned?
Well, you get friend zoned if you look down.
You get
Right.
friend
So it's
zoned if they're not
self-fulfilling.
interested.
It's
It's very cyclical.
She's a goddess. She's on a pedestal. Oh my gosh, I cannot look upon her. I shall look down in reverence. And it's like, this guy was cute and funny, but he's not interested.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, the
And that's
woman
brilliant.
leads. She ups it. If the guy follows a half step behind,
Mm-hmm.
he can go ahead a half step. He can't go a full step ahead.
Yeah.
And he would watch. You can recover. Oh, I overdid it. I'm going to back off. They're reading that, but we don't even barely know it, especially the guys, because we don't notice all that early end stuff.
Right.
But a guy can be taught to notice it.
Yeah.
Do you know what's even
And then they're
crazier about
waiting.
all this? It's completely different from what it was 20 years ago.
How so?
Well, I mean, now I think women, especially Gen Z, they realize that men are afraid because they're afraid that they're going to get canceled. They're afraid that they're going to be called a creep if they approach a woman at the wrong place, right?
It's
And
even
here's-
more terrifying. Yeah.
Here's one that I've seen a lot is in a gym. There's girls that I've seen on social media. They're like, I want a guy that, like, I'm here, like, working on my body. Like, I think it's flattering.
Yeah.
When somebody notices me and approaches me. And then there's
Right.
other girls, the other side of it, they're like, don't fucking ever. Don't, they have the hat down and they're like headphones on and their hood on. And then they're like,
But-
don't come and.
It's a great point, Kevin.
But-
if we can't tell the difference.
Right.
Perception, I feel like, is like I can tell at the gym when someone's flexing in the mirror, when a guy is looking at himself, when a guy is making eye contact with me, when a guy is, talking to other people in the gym. Clearly, he wants people to talk to him in the gym. I've seen other women peacock, if I may,
Yeah.
at the gym where they've gone and women have come in front and stood in front of you when there are 25 open benches. Women will come and stand in front of your
Yeah.
bench and do deadlifts in front of you.
Yeah. I welcome it.
I'm aware, but I think that it's the problem is
Kevin
when
laughs nervously.
when the men
Yeah,
when the
right.
men approach a woman who's in the corner of the back of the gym with her headphones on and her hood up, and she is literally trying her best to fit into the wall,
right.
and the man approaches her, and now she's somehow the bitch for
But
not
that's the whole
reciprocating,
point that
right?
that's the whole point
the
that I'm
point.
trying to make is you don't know now. Men don't know if they can approach.
But
they
you
don't
do.
know.
Like,
no.
Don't approach the woman who's
No.
in the corner.
No. There's no real there's no code. There's no universal. What it used to be is
There could be, Kevin.
but I mean, I think 20, 30 years ago, there was more of a decorum of men approach women. Now it's,
We never should have, though.
well, no,
That
I'm
was
not.
always wrong.
Right. No, I don't disagree.
No, for real.
Yeah.
The woman will make you think you're initiating because you don't. It's like a dog whistle. The guy doesn't hear the subtle signs. We don't notice. Listen, Ash, you know this.
Yeah.
It's basic social psych.
Yeah.
Women are much, much better at reading nonverbal communication.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I was terrible, especially when I was younger.
Yeah.
Subtleties. We don't perceive it. And there's the biopsychosocial piece again. Biologically, we're not built for that. We evolved in tribes. The women have always, at least primarily, not completely,
Yeah.
and there's crossover.
Sure.
You guys have some crossover. Ran the social side of the street.
And if a woman is doing deadlifts in front of you and there are plenty of open spaces for her to be doing a deadlift and she's doing it in front of you, say hello. But if a woman crosses out of her way to get to the other side of
Leave
an
her
empty
alone.
room, leave her the fuck alone.
Yeah.
But we need to be taught. We need to be informed.
This is what I'm saying,
how to
yeah.
read
Because we don't have these like understandings in society where it's like, hey, you need to read body language. Like you need to understand like when someone's walking down a street and has headphones on and sunglasses on and a hat on, clearly they don't want to be approached. But when somebody's sitting at a coffee shop, staring out into the distance, no headphones, looking around, smiling and making eye contact with people, that's a human being who wants to be approached, right?
Right.
They're the
Teach
golden
you
retriever of
how many
social
reps
humans.
to do, proper form,
Yeah.
how to wipe down the equipment,
Mansplain
not
it to them.
how to
Here's
do
a
courtship.
crazy thing. What if a woman starts doing deadlifts in front of you and you walk up to her and say, hey, you have excellent form. Can you show me how you learned how to do deadlifts? Instead of saying, let me teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could ask her, hey, can you show me how to do a deadlift? Because I actually don't think I'm doing them right.
But here's the key I'll add. You have to really want to learn
You really do.
because you have to be real, and your goal can't be to get the gal.
No.
That's another amazing.
Oh, let's talk
horrific
about that. The number 2
Terrible.
myth is that you have to be serious and you have to be ready to commit the moment you speak to a person. Otherwise, you might lose her.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, be smart. No one longer needs to get married. No one needs to be married. So
Boom.
if you don't have to find one partner for the rest of your life, then don't. If you do get married, it is on you to make sure she is a good fit. The tribe no longer needs to be served through your marriage. There's no longer a dowry. There is no tribe to hold the relationship together. Selecting someone who is not just attractive, but likely compatible for the long haul. Commitment should be done with as much conscious information as possible. Just like pursuit, over commitment is a yuck. Try bringing flowers on a first date or taking a woman to an overly fancy restaurant too early could be a yuck. New rule, overcommitment is foolish, scary, and unattractive. Again, I think you're going to get some people who are going to say, whoa, Dave, you don't want people to bring flowers on a first date anymore? You don't want people to take a girl out to a fancy restaurant anymore? Why?
Not on the first date. Because
What
you
do
don't know if you like her yet.
What do you think you
and
should
you
do?
don't know if she likes you yet.
How do you feel about splitting the bill on a first date?
Doesn't matter
It doesn't matter.
at all.
Fantastic.
It's a
perspective.
distraction. It's ridiculous.
I love this.
Why would that matter?
It shouldn't. I think it's the dumbest fucking argument.
It is.
I feel like it's so stupid.
Listen, it's hard enough.
You're going out with
Settling
another human.
for more.
Pay your own shit.
Settle for more.
Settle
Leave
for
it
more.
alone.
Where should you go on a first date?
You just as well focused on like, what color shoelaces should I have? It's ridiculous. Doesn't matter.
What are you learning on a first date that's more important?
A good goal? What do I think of her?
Where do you go that shows
How is she?
you?
I'd like to know her.
Yeah.
Am I dating? If I'm open to a commitment, good goal.
Yeah.
It's real simple.
It is.
Might I enjoy dating this person?
Might I want to date them
Or not.
a second time?
And guess what? Then it's not fake confidence.
Right.
Your confidence follows your goals. If you have a crap goal, I need to do everything right.
Right.
I need to impress her.
Right.
I need to get her to like me.
Yep.
I need to get a second date. I need this. I need this. I need this.
I feel
you're not
like
confident.
I feel
'cause
like
you
if you're
can't do
taking
that.
someone to
It's
a
not
restaurant
doable.
that is outside of your comfort zone, right? Like let's say you
No,
take
go where you like.
Yeah, if you take someone to this super crazy fancy restaurant and you bring them a dozen roses and you open the car door for them and then that fades away after the first date, it was like, who the fuck was I on a date with? Like, be yourself.
No, it is,
be who
it's
you
also,
are.
It's also gross.
It's also a little gross.
Most women are like, oh my God, that what?
Right.
What is this? This is
I
weird.
honestly don't.
Too much nowadays.
It's too much. Not just nowadays. I
Always.
never liked that. My
Right.
whole life, I was never.
Send her grandma some flowers.
Right?
That's what the tribes used to do.
Yeah.
Send beer and gifts to the
That's great.
kin. But you're not going to do that. But certainly don't give it
No.
to the woman. Why are you giving her stuff? That's weird.
On the first date, you don't even
Weird.
know her. Like,
Right.
You don't even know who she is. You don't even know what she likes and what she doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
You try to get.
That's
get the girl.
fucking weird.
It's a bad metaphor, but whatever. Like fishing, like a lot of guys can fish or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like sitting in the boat. It's like, oh, there's a fish. And you jump in the water. And you try to grab it. Like,
Yeah.
come on, fish.
Come on,
Fish.
get in the boat.
I got a bunch of bait. Come on, take me. Like, no, you sit back, you watch the bobber. Like, is this, most of the time you're going to throw it back anyway.
Yeah.
Like, is this a good fish?
Does
I
she
don't know.
like the bait?
What are you fishing for?
Maybe not.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. You kick it.
You pick up the fish and the fish likes you back and you're like, I like this fish. I'm going to
Cooler of beer, you're fine if you catch one or not.
Terrible metaphor.
It's way easier though.
Okay, mythical rule number 3. I'm dying.
Confident fishing.
The mythical rule is that you must approach the woman. In our culture, we stupidly focus on pickup lines and false metaphors of the man as the hunter. Again, the science is clear. Women lead interactions of the courtship.
That's what Tim Perper found. Got to give him credit. Sorry.
Tim Perp. Can we get a fucking horn for
Perper.
I'm talking perp. I'm just shortening it. I'm
Fair enough.
I'm
He's passed
shortening
away, so it's fine.
Tim, R.I.P. Cheers to Tim.
Cheers to Tim. This was the 80s. I mean, he was pretty old. He had a great life.
That probably wasn't necessarily.
It's all right. Our sad trombone can be used for many things.
He would have laughed at it.
He would have allowed it. All you will do is distract yourself from the true process if you add pressure on yourself to initiate and carry out flirtatious conversations. Even if you approach a woman, it is likely because she has put you in a position or has sent you a signal that has led you to do so. Furthermore, if you spend your energy and attention trying to think of what to say, you will likely ignore your function as a good listener. The important part of communicating effectively in women is listening. New rule: you must respond to her approach. Explain yourself.
Don't look down. Don't ignore it. The women are trying to let the guy know if they're interested or not. You just got to put your big ears on. It's way easier if you know that.
So it's funny.
All the pressure's gone.
Husband Kevin Weller has this uncanny ability of telling me when people are interested in me. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you answered the question like a guy. From the survey that Perper would have given you.
Yeah.
His cock's like laying on my forehead. That means he's interested.
Right.
And Kevin stepped in with, no, it touch you on the arm and
Subtle.
laugh at your joke.
Yeah.
And you touch your hair.
Yep.
And you pull it behind your ear.
Right.
You know, it's the little
Yep.
stuff.
He'll
Laugh.
tell me,
Little
he'll be like,
laugh. Little dumb
You know,
laughs.
that's but it's right there. It's kind of awesome. It's not, and it tells you it's not totally gendered.
No.
It's just averages.
It's just
Right.
averages. And he has this uncanny ability. And it will almost, I think with 100% accuracy. I don't think you've ever been wrong.
No.
It's crazy.
why he got you, by the way.
It's facts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I finally got there too. You were 22. I found out at the break.
Yeah.
Right.
When you met me.
Took me.
Oh, yeah.
Till I was 30 to get someone a little above my weight class.
Oh, shit.
And you.
I know she is above my weight class.
No, you settled for more, man.
You settled for more.
But it's that knowledge that helped.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, you
confidence.
were poised. But that's why he was confident. People think, oh, I got to get confident. That's a terrible goal. You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
No. I like if I'm going to go surf, I'm not going to be confident. No, it's a terrible idea. Yeah, I'll be confident, then I'll be good at surfing. It's the same thing with dating.
Yeah.
Change your goal. Everybody can sit back and see, hey, is anybody interested in me?
Yeah.
If not, rough night.
Yeah.
If so,
Change the venue.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That brings me to rule number 4, which is you need to be, quote unquote, the man. You need to be cool, impressive, and attractive. All of these things are going to backfire. You are unlikely to be able to out-communicate a woman. This is actually
I agree with
fact-based.
that.
This is science-based. This is the reason that more women have podcasts. It's the reason that more women are authors of self-help books.
Psychologists.
And psychologists too, like the social psych field, like the field of sociology and psychology and the social sciences are inundated with women, which is a big problem also for the therapeutic community because it's difficult for men to go to therapists that they don't recognize as themselves, and it's difficult for men to go to therapists that are women. Anyways, that's besides the point. Women are better communicators. That's just a fucking scientific fact. So trying to pump yourself up to be fake confident or pseudo confident will only suck away your energy and you will be fake and insecure. And we can smell that a mile away. As a woman, I can smell insecurity from it's like a vampire with blood. I know when you're insecure, and it is probably one of the biggest turnoffs for me personally. So instead of jumping to a conclusion that you think she is worth impressing and trying then to impress her, spend your energy doing what works for you and examining whether or not she may not be the right fit for you. New rule: be your fucking self. I changed your rule, Dave. I'm sorry.
I didn't have the F-bomb in it either.
That's what I'm saying. Your rule was very vanilla. You need to be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself.
Hey, it was 2014, all right?
Be your
it was
fucking
a gentler
self,
time.
is what I'm saying. And I don't even know if this needs an explanation. Do not be fake confident. Be confident in the things that you know about. If you know about Lord of the Rings, fucking be confident in that. If you know about football, fucking be confident in that. If you know about cooking, if you know about sports, if you know about psychology, if you know...
but the funny thing is right now that people say you manifest what you want. So if you want a 10, you will manifest yourself a 10.
No, you won't.
No,
you fucking won't.
This is just a sign of how lost we are and how far we are out the Garden of Eden and out of our tribal, where we evolved, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. If I think that I could be the best rapper
Okay,
in the
Kanye.
world.
All right. That's called narcissistic personality disorder, and it is not attractive. No, but I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
You do need to set goals for yourself. Hey, I want to go to the gym. I want to be better. I want to be healthier. Great. Good for you. I want to learn more. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get a degree in business. And I want to be well-versed in the world of business. Or I'm going to read a book on how to be a better communicator. I'm going to go to therapy. Fucking excellent ways to manifest a better version of yourself. You should never make yourself better so that other people will be more. It's not about, I'm going to make myself better because Sarah thinks that I need to go to the gym. Go fuck yourself, Sarah. Sarah will find someone else.
Yeah.
You should want to be with someone who supports who you are and who applauds you for even trying to be a better version of yourself.
Sure.
Stupidest book ever, The Game.
Oh, fuck that book.
Part of the reason I didn't publish this back in the day is, I talked to one agent. They're like, "Whoa, what makes you think you know how to get girls? You're middle-aged and married for 15 years." It's like, I was like, yeah, good point. Click. I was at a hockey game, actually. And then that's when I put the book away. That was the final straw. The Game was out at the time. They had this stupid idea of peacocking. What you just described is like putting on a big peacock outfit. What?
It's going to come off.
And it's the same thing. You got to have a life
Yeah.
in order to share a life with somebody.
Right?
But you don't want to get a life just to get somebody, because that's not a life.
It's called The Game, Penetrating the Secret Society of Pickup Artists.
Yeah, and I could have
Ew.
wrote that thing on a fortune cookie label. Just ask a bunch of ladies if you want to have sex when
Yeah.
they're drunk at 2 a.m.
Right.
Especially in the Midwest, I'd say. 'cause
Wearing
that's
Axe
right.
body spray.
Or whatever. It doesn't matter what you're wearing.
It does.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I won't mansplain that
Gross.
point. But no, it's a high volume. Like, if you want to get laid, get laid.
No.
Whatever.
I know.
Anyway, you pick your goals. You have a life because it's nice to have a life. Then you can share a life. That's
Absolutely. Have a life because you want to share a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mythical rule number 5. I love this fucking rule. You must be attractive.
You do not need to be attractive,
Nope.
guys. And that's gotten so much worse.
Yep.
This book was inspired because me and my friend Dave, it was originally called Dave and Dave's Guide back in 2000. No, late 90s, because we were both single at the time. My friend Dave from middle school was a psychologist too.
Okay.
And we were working at the same community mental health clinics in Milwaukee. And I got an anecdote in there for a guy that came in, and he smelled, he was obese, he had a neurological disorder, you couldn't understand him. And he was coming, I thought, he had horrible mental health problems. He had severe depression.
Yeah.
He was suicidal at the time. I almost thought I had to
Damn.
call the cops to get him. At
5150, this guy.
Yeah, really. And I swear I'm not making this up. He smelled so bad that I almost was gagging and was going to open the door to let a little air in, but
Yeah.
I just accommodated and breathed through my mouth. I asked him yes and no questions because he couldn't speak
Yeah.
because of the neurological problem. And at the end, he was like, no, I'm here for couples therapy. Like, his girlfriend was waiting in the lobby,
Well,
and she was pretty attractive. And I was
yeah.
freaking, I'm not going to drop the F-bombs, you know. I'm not ready for that yet. But I was single at the time, and I
Need to
couldn't
get
find
you more
anyone
bourbon.
to date.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was 30.
And
you
that's
know, I almost had a
demoralizing.
doctorate
You're like, why
degree. I
not
was
me?
really
Why
nice.
this guy?
Yeah.
It just, there were so many of those.
Yeah.
And then tons of guys we were both seeing who were fantastic potential partners.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, in addition to the depression, in addition to the anxiety, in addition to the bipolar disorder, I'd also like to work on dating because it's really frustrating. And that hasn't changed. Guys,
Yeah.
and then I get out here, Orange County's even worse.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Probably.
10 years
that's
ago, I heard
truth.
like the calf implant thing.
Oh my God. We
Guys-
just watched the
guys
episode
having-
of Entourage where
Yeah.
drama wants to get
Yeah,
Shout out
drama's perfect.
to
Everything
Entourage.
drama does on,
everything drama
everything he
does
does on that
is
show
the
is wrong.
antithesis of what you should be
I gotta
doing
watch
as a man.
Exactly.
But yeah, and
He's completely opposite of his brother.
Oh yeah.
your looks matter in as much as you're taking care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I mean, it's set up for us. It's like if you're 7 feet tall, go ahead and dunk it. Like men don't have as much appearance pressure on them.
No.
Thank goodness.
Right.
So cut it out. It's like more wasted energy.
Cut it out.
I mean, Billy, I can't use Woody Allen anymore because it's a bad example.
I
but
mean, he's not a
he
great human, but like you can still use
dated
the
fantastic
example.
women. No, I'll go with Billy Joel.
Or you could
even
go
though
with-
it's really old.
Yeah.
But there's tons of examples.
Hello.
Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley, like Billy Joel and whoever. Billy Joel, if it was about looks, would have never made.
And it's not about
What
money.
about Rolling
it's not about
Stones,
money
Mick Jagger?
either. Christy Brinkley
Well,
had so much money when she
Mick's sexy.
Mick is fucking sexy. Don't
Mick's
fucking
sexy.
say it.
I don't know. I mean,
How
maybe,
dare
but
you.
Maybe you're too straight.
How dare you?
maybe.
He's on the end of the Kinsey spectrum. He's like a 99.
Oh, okay, that's the
He's
problem.
too straight. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm about.
Sorry.
I'm about
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
70-80%.
Right. Most people are.
And mix.
Right.
You know, most. Yeah. Anyone who's
He's
a little
comfortable.
biased, like
He's
I wouldn't kick
comfortable in
Mick
saying
Jagger out of bed.
He's
but
comfortable in
I'm
saying he
mostly
wouldn't
straight.
kick Ryan Gosling out of bed.
Nobody
Right.
would.
Nobody would do that.
Nor
Doesn't-
Brad Pitt.
Hello.
Right.
Plus, if I could just
Let's talk about
to it.
that really fucking
Anyway,
quick.
anyway. My point is,
You are attractive.
you don't have to. Well,
That's the new rule.
Women look on the inside.
Okay. Which brings
It's how you
me.
respond.
This brings
Thank
me
God,
to
by the way.
my next section.
goodness.
Ready? So we just read pieces of Dave's unpublished book. So you guys are all super lucky to get a sneak preview of his new book. What's it called again? Settle for More.
Settling for more.
Settling for More.
There's a paradox woven in there.
Yeah, it
Settling
is.
for more. A man's guide to women.
A Man's Guide to Women.
And yeah, the women can read it too.
Fuck yeah, they should.
Because they will, and you know, you don't have to be hetero
No.
to read it either.
No.
But there, you know, if it does all right, we'll have some follow
We'll
up
fucking have a follow-up. We'll have a release party where you'll sign the copy for
with
me.
more diversity.
So here are 5 things according to research. So I want to preface again that so much of dating that has not been scientifically researched or studied. And when it is studied, it is studied in the lens of anthropology or evolution or biology or sometimes human sexuality and psychology. What up, Justin Lay Miller? But it's not very well studied. So I'm going to tell you 5 things according to research that men do that cause women to retreat. Number 1.
Called the ick nowadays.
It's called the ick. Here it is. Poor communication skills is the number 1 reason women retreat. Research consistently shows that effective communication is a key determinant of relationship success, both in the short term and the long term. Women cite poor communication as a major reason for not wanting to pursue a relationship further. A 2020 study from eHarmony found that 85% of women ranked good communication as the number 1 trait in a partner. According to the same study, women were 3 times more likely to prioritize emotional intelligence over physical appearance. So again, it's not about what you look like. It's about being able to communicate effectively with yourself, with your friends, with your family, and with your partner.
Quickly, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm going to want to get that because the book needs to be updated
You got
past
it.
10 years ago.
You can have this.
It's listening, though, is the key. It's not what you say, it's how you listen. And empathy is really simple. Just be curious.
Yep. Oh,
If you're attracted to her, just
curiosity.
go ahead and be curious. Who is this amazing human? What's going on with her?
And this can be translated
That's so
between
simple.
men
That's a
and women.
great goal. Yeah, for sure.
Women should be curious about their partners too. I think curiosity dies in a relationship.
Yes.
And I think curiosity is more important even when you are in the throes of a disagreement. I think being curious about why your partner is reacting the way that they're reacting rather than being reactive. Being curious about how your partner is feeling, what has triggered your partner's emotions, and what you can do to be there for your partner is profound.
Ashley, you just crushed that.
Thank you.
That's not just for dating. You're
Championship.
right.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you take for your whole relationship,
Be curious.
beginning to death do you part. If you remain, I'm keeping that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Put it in your book.
No, it's so simple.
Do it.
Couples
And it is
therapy.
simple. That's what I learned from couples therapy was to be curious, to approach things with curiosity. Number
Yeah.
2, lack of ambition or motivation. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that women tend to prefer men who have goals and motivation in their life. This does not necessarily mean financial, but a drive to improve one's self and pursue meaningful activities is attractive. A 2021 U.gov survey found that 74% of women value a man's ambition and drive, with many considering this a key factor in long-term potential. And why the fuck shouldn't it be? Why do we want to be with people who want to live in their grandmother's garage?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
We want to be with people who
In
want to
defense
better
of
themselves.
the grandma's garage people, I'm living here because I'm working on
Sure.
Yeah.
the most amazing invention ever.
You want to know something crazy?
Some gal's gonna get on
I
board
met
with
Kevin and he was living with his parents and he was going to school and
Can be
he was
fine.
getting a degree and he had a
Yes.
job and he was making money. And when the 2008 economy crashed, I lived with his parents when we couldn't pay rent.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we're going to make a plan to move out. And Kevin was getting our credit fixed and he wanted to get a better job. And it isn't
Started
about,
selling drugs.
right? Started selling himself.
Side hustle.
On that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. That's not true.
What you got, man? No, joking.
We got some Wheezies, we got some Spinnies, we got some what's the joke about fireworks?
I mean, oh yeah, that's my side hustle.
Oh,
Fireworks.
all right.
Don't say that on the air. Jesus Christ. He's
Don't
not
tell
wrong.
anybody.
Disrespectful behavior is number 3. Disrespectful behavior, such as interrupting, making sexist jokes, or showing lack of consideration for others, is a significant red flag in women. Women often report that they lose interest in men who exhibit behaviors that devalue or demean others. A 2022 study conducted by the Pew Research Center found that 90% of women consider kindness and empathy essential traits in a partner. Women who ranked empathy as a top priority were 2 times more likely to be seeking long-term partnerships rather than casual dating. This is imperative. Kindness and empathy. Now, if you're dating somebody who is also completely unkind and unempathetic and they don't have those same goals, then fine, be a dick and see what happens. You probably will find your match somewhere. You'll probably find an asshole who wants to also be an asshole to other people who aren't
You guys
assholes.
be assholes to each other.
You can be assholes together. Way to go, toxic relationships. But in healthy relationships, being kind to your partner is imperative. Making sure you don't criticize your partner, making sure that you do not speak ill of your partner in front of other people, and any issues you have with one another are dealt between the two of you, and you are not blasting your partner all over the place, including social media. Now, number 4 goes back to what you just said about the fact that people just have to imagine themselves or just know that they're attractive. You don't have to be attractive. However, physical attraction, while it plays a significant role in dating, is extremely subjective. And what one person finds physically attractive, me, facial hair. I love fucking facial hair. When I first started dating Kevin, he didn't have facial hair. He was a baby face. He had a little clean shaven baby face. And after like 6 months of dating, I was like, what do you think about maybe growing a goatee? What do you think about maybe doing that? And it hasn't gone away since. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But not every woman loves facial hair.
Yeah.
There are women who love bald men. They think baldness is so sexy. There are women who love the dad bod. There's this new move of loving a dad bod. People are subjective. So feeding into what the media says is attractive, first of all, is stupid. Why would you ever believe what the media fucking says? And second of all, is not conducive to a healthy relationship with yourself or with the other. A survey conducted by Match.com revealed that 75% of women consider poor hygiene among the top attraction deal breakers on a first date.
I could see that.
So it isn't height, it isn't dick size, it isn't muscle size or eye color. It is personal hygiene. While personality traits will always take precedence, physical attraction plays a significant role. A survey by Bumble in 2021 found that 60% of women say physical appearance matters, but it is not the most important factor. Women were 50% more likely to favor men who took care of grooming and hygiene, such as dressing well and maintaining a neat appearance. Bad breath, dirty clothes, body odor, unkempt appearance immediately turn everyone off. This goes for everybody.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like, I wouldn't want to date somebody who is having an issue with, like not showering. I couldn't personally do that. But there are some people who aren't going to be bothered by that. Other people maybe who don't shower
That
on a regular.
stinky guy in Milwaukee in the community clinic found somebody.
He sure did.
It's not 100% deal breaker.
No.
I just want to say, as a shorter man who doesn't have short man syndrome, I mean, somehow I ducked it. Like, airplane rides are way better. One time, and I dated a lot of because I was single till I was about 30. And, tried and struck out again and again and again, but it was all good.
Because you found your person.
Only one gal. I was too short. She was over 6 feet tall.
I mean,
And when I finally got it out of her, I was like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
It would have been fine.
If that's what
I
matters to
see
you,
her on
that's what
Facebook now.
matters.
Great gal. Like,
Yeah.
we're still friends. She's married to a guy taller than her. Of
course.
6'6". I'm like,
That's just
you could have
physics.
saved me a lot of effort. But I'm 5'7". I dated a woman who was like 6'3" in college. It was great.
That's crazy.
No problem.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe she's deeply in love with me. I'm like, I'm really short, way shorter than you. And I had a motorcycle with it was a Yamaha. The back was like high, like 4 inches taller. And I used to ride her on the motorcycle.
Nice.
Her like arms were
Would come around your throat.
They were around my throat. It was cool. They feel insecure too. I don't know if it's in there, but women don't know how attractive they are. Almost no woman knows. And
No,
guys
fair.
need to remember that.
Yeah.
It's very helpful. It just levels the playing field.
No, that's fair.
Were you going to cover like the how to look for the how to get the gal off the pedestal for the anxious guys at all?
Please,
Were you gonna
please
that?
cover that.
Well, okay. A lot of nice guys who really, really, really are attracted to women, and the more pent up you get and whatever, and you get kind of desperate, as sad as it is. I've been there. There's little exercises in the book. I got to get this thing out. Just finding the flaw. I actually practiced this a lot because I was a pedestal guy. And then you totally lose your grip and you're trying to get her and then you're lost.
Yep.
So she's the one. You fall in all the myths. Like I used to, it was so relieving. I'd be like, okay, she got something ugly on her. I look at the earlobes. Oh yeah, they're over-connected. Like, look at her nose is it's not totally symmetrical, or one eye is a little more closed, or you forecast them This is really bad. Sorry.
Here we go.
I used to
Preface.
forecast them
This
in the
is
middle
terrible.
age, like after they had a
Oh.
few kids.
Oh,
and
nice.
they're not as young and hot anymore when I was
Right.
in my 20s,
Right.
you know? I just forecast it forward, you know, they're in the suburbs.
You do like
They
a
got
little
some
twist
high
on a
school
knob.
kids.
Let's forecast this to 45.
Yeah, how is this 20 years down the road? She not all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's little cognitive games you can play. Anyway, just throwing
It's
it out.
not a bad idea, though, to remember that
It's a human,
human beings don't know how attractive they are to other human beings. Like, we have no fucking clue,
especially women.
especially women. And the ones that think that they are more attractive typically have something about them. I don't know, their fucking personality that when they open their mouth, you're like, yeah, you're no longer as attractive. What do you want to
Yeah.
say?
No, I was going to say this is basically the same thing.
Right. So the ones that are hot and then know they're hot and then use their hot and then are rude about their hot are typically
Yeah.
giant twat bags.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And they're probably going to find giant douchebags
Yeah.
to
That's-
mate with.
Yeah, right.
And you, as a good person, as a good man, you don't want to be with that person, regardless of how hot
Yeah, no.
she is by society's standards.
We're sorry, Connor. Your mom was a twat bag and your father was a douchebag. But there's hope for you.
There is hope.
There is
Just
hope.
don't get so focused on soccer. Try to be well-rounded. And don't get those calf implants.
Yeah.
Please don't. Drama. Good God. The last thing that women find unattractive is being emotionally unavailable. Women desire emotions and openness in a relationship. According to a 2019 study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family, emotional availability is crucial for developing trust and intimacy, and it revealed that 77% of women considered a good sense of humor one of the most attractive traits in a man. They also found that women were 60% more likely to go out with someone on a second date if he made her laugh on the first date.
Funny guys.
We love a funny guy. And again, humor
Oh,
is
my panties
subjective.
are off.
Humor is subjective. It's true. It's like
Yeah.
you tell a joke and it may not sit with everyone, right? Like as a professor, I tell jokes in class all the time. And some students crack the fuck up and I'm like, and you all get A's. No, I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
like some of them don't get it. And this is a perfect example for dating. You could put 20 women in a room who you have gone on a date or who you might go on the date with in the future, right? So let's say you're a guy and you're going to date 20 women in the next 2 years. And you put them all in a room before you go on a date with them and you lay out your fucking best first date material. And the 5 that laugh,
Yeah.
those are the 5.
That's a huge one that I've always
This is
noticed. They're
gold.
laughing.
Those
This
are
is
the
going
5.
in the book. I'll
Yeah.
attribute it.
Those are fucking the 5 that you go on a second date with.
Yeah.
And then you let them make you laugh. And the 2 that make you laugh, those are the 2. And now those 2 you have to sit with and I feel like there is a specific set of events that needs to take place before you get married. Here's what I've decided.
Nice.
I have decided that you need to get sick you need to see a person at their
Yeah,
at
right.
their sickest.
Travel with them.
Travel is number 2. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Travel is number 2. And see them with their family.
Ooh, yeah.
Before you decide to commit to a person long term.
That's got to be a lady boner killer when she walks in and then he's a dick to his dad or his mom or his
Yeah.
dad.
Or his
I
siblings.
love 1 and 2.
Thank
but
you.
number 3, I mean, it's essential and it fits with that evolutionary perspective.
Thank you.
And we've lost it.
Yes, we have.
We've lost it. My stepdad, he was a misogynist. I mean, sorry, he won't hear this, but
Well.
he taught me a lot of great lessons. However,
Of what not to do.
did I almost say misogynistic?
Douchebag, I think is what you almost
I
said.
don't use that word. Pig.
I did.
There you go.
But he said, I mean, this is gross. All right. So caveat or asterisk. He said, you got to look at the mom and you look at the pocketbook because you look at the mom, that's what she's going to turn into.
Yeah, I've heard
Honey,
that.
it's not true. You're going to listen to this later. It's not
It's
true.
not
and if
true.
it was, your mom's wonderful. But he said, but you know, if you soften his, and then he said, look at the pocketbook. That's the really gross part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a lot of good babes out there, but, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a little money in the bank. So, anyway,
And that's not, and how you respond to your family.
but if I soften the message,
yeah.
you have the family, like, I couldn't believe a year or two after I got married how unbelievably important the connection of the families was.
Yeah.
Because it's your whole life. It's your niche. It's the
who you grew
grandparents
up
of the
with.
kids if you're going to breed. It's all of it.
Yeah.
It's
Support.
like, oh my gosh. And the individualistic culture,
The
it's
home you
all
were
on
raised in.
you, the modernist, we forget how brand new it is. We're on our own out here.
Yeah.
We forget all of that. Oh, I don't live with my parents anymore. It's not important. No,
Yes, it is.
It's important.
Yes, it is.
It's important.
And I think those three
But
things.
I love the travel
and seeing
the
them when they're
laughs.
sick, I think is really important.
and the laughs.
Yeah.
And,
the laughs.
and laughter. I think, that's actually, I'm going to add a fourth one to that is making sure that you can laugh with a person. So, hey, now, all right.
Just checking.
Are you playing me off?
I mean, I can
A
if you
little
want.
premature.
little-
whatever.
Here we go.
Premature
this was
songulation.
a song that I was going to play in place.
Oh yeah.
Performed by Heavy D, Tupac, and Notorious B.I.G.
They're all sanitized. They're all right. Still, right?
They're fine. They have not been canceled yet.
So that was the last song, Let's Get It On, but it was by Marvin Gaye. This is by Heavy D, Tupac, and Notorious B.I.G.
Well, you could put this in the background if you want. I'm
Okay.
going to just give a couple of podcasts that men can listen to that have been highly rated because podcasts are the books of our time. The Art of Charm, which is a podcast that empowers men in the relationship domain. Expert Jordan Harbinger dives into the intricate world of social dynamics. The Love You Mentory, which is hosted by Nate Bagley, explores love in all forms, delving into what makes relationships work, flourish, and fail. The Mating Grounds, which is a podcast hosted by Tucker, Max, and Dr. Jeffrey Miller, which combines humor, science, and real-world activities, things that we absolutely love. Go-to relationship podcast for guys who seek evolutionary perspective on mating and relationships. Where Should We Begin by Esther Perel. I love Esther Perel so much. For raw, unfiltered looks into the therapy room, Where Should We Begin with Esther Perel stands out as a fascinating relationship podcast for men. Esther Perel is a world-renowned relationship therapist, and she allows listeners to sit in on real therapy sessions with couples struggling with varieties of issues. And the Dating Playbook for Men takes a different angle in the world of relationship podcasts, focusing primarily on the dating aspect. It offers actionable advice for men seeking to improve their dating game and confidence, hosted by Andrew Fearby, a noted author and speaker on men's development. The podcast is filled with tips, tools, and techniques to enhance one's dating life. I hope that this podcast episode had opened up the conversation for the amazing men who listen to our podcast. Horns for me, honey. I fucking love you guys. By the way, on our Instagram, we are literally 50-50 split between whether or not men or women listen to our podcast. So clearly we are hitting the heterosexual men demographic in a big way.
Yeah.
And I love you. I
Yeah,
love
that's
you
great.
all. I appreciate you sticking with us and listening with us for such a very long time. And I want to bring you more content like this. Cam Frazier is an excellent person to check out on Instagram if you are interested in more heteronormative ways to approach masculinity and toxic masculinity and how to avoid those things in relationships. We love Cam Frazier so much on this podcast. And we love Dave. Thanks for being here, Dave. You're amazing.
Ashley, I'm checking out all those resources.
Oh, good.
I'm so
I'm gonna send
glad.
you this whole thing.
Listen, I've been out of this for about 10 years. This book is old. I'm going to check all of those out.
Yeah.
This is great. I've learned a ton today.
Nice.
Thank you for so
Thank
much that you
you.
put into this. All of that research you
Heck
did.
yeah. Thank you for sharing your book, even though it's unpublished with us, and letting me blast it
But
all
it
over
will
the
be
place.
now. Well, he's going to...
Well, you already have a built-in audience
Very
now.
motivated.
You
Yeah.
have a built-in audience now.
But I'm going to check out all those sources.
Fuck yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
going to send this to you. I'm going to email it to you. You can have
there
it.
you
can
go.
have all this
Info
info.
is hard to
yeah,
find. It's
absolutely.
great.
Can't wait to hear more input about these this episode and what you thought of it. Check out our new website, whatsyourpositionpodcast.com.
We just got a new website. It's
Email
great.
us, contact us, reach us through the form, follow us on Instagram, What's Your Position Podcast. We love you so fucking much. Stay safe, stay kind, and stay sexy.
Don't you, baby? My whole body won't fit in.
What's Your Position podcast represents the opinions of Ashley Weller and her guests. The content here should not be taken as medical advice and is intended for education and entertainment purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in the podcast are our own and do not represent that of our places of work. While we make every effort to ensure the information we are sharing is accurate, we welcome any comments, suggestions, or correction of error. Stay safe, stay kind, and stay sexy.